Hey guys, this is Bailey Stein with Android Authority, and you're watching our video review of the Meizu Pro 6 Plus. If you recall last year's Pro 6, this phone should look pretty similar since it's pretty much just a larger version of that. It's an all-metal unibody, as you can see, that's both beautiful and ergonomic. It's also made of softer metal than most other metal phones, so it has a very nice feel in the hand. That also means that it's quite slippery though, so you may want to consider a case. Regardless, the craftsmanship here is impressive. Meizu states that the body assembly process alone takes 30 steps and 150 hours to complete, and that amount of effort definitely pays off. It's the keen attention to detail that really counts and makes this a high-end design at a mid-range price. We also really enjoy Meizu's M-Touch navigation system. Instead of the 3-key layout that many of us are used to, the Pro 6 Plus has a single tactile key that you tap to go back and press to go home, and you just swipe up from either side to access the redesigned Flyme 6 multitasking menu. This redesigned menu replaces the horizontal cards view with a vertical screens view, which makes it easier to close apps since you no longer have to change swiping direction. The front key also serves as a fast and accurate fingerprint reader. It's not as fast as some other phones like the OnePlus 3T, but it's still pretty fast. Thanks to Flyme 6, you can also use the fingerprint reader for a password vault, to lock apps, and to access privacy or guest modes. Being able to access each mode with different fingerprints is cool, and we like the idea of having a second space. The Pro 6 Plus redeems its name with a 5.7-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display. It's a considerable improvement from the Pro 6, and is one of the best displays that you can find at this price. Colors are punchy, yet not too oversaturated, the contrast is excellent, and sunlight readability is decent. The display makes everything from reading articles to watching television shows an absolute pleasure. The slightly larger size also helps everything feel more immersive. Meizu has implemented 3D press technology with the Pro 6 Plus, which works very much like Apple's 3D Touch. It only works with select Meizu apps though, so it's not terribly useful day to day. Under the hood, we have a Samsung Exynos 8890 octa-core processor, which has been used in devices like the Galaxy S7. The base model of the Pro 6 Plus is underclocked at 2.0 GHz, however, so if you want performance more similar to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 821, you'll need to pay a bit more for the higher-end model, which is clocked at 2.3 GHz. Meizu sent us a base model which didn't do too well in benchmarks, but performed absolutely fine in everyday use. We're sure that the 4GB of LPDDR4 RAM and UFS 2.0 storage also help with that too. Importantly, Meizu makes up for where the base model lacks in hardware capability with special software optimizations. With Flyme 6, Meizu is introducing OneMind AI, which learns user habits to better manage memory and decrease predicted app load times. As expected, the Pro 6 Plus is an unlocked dual SIM smartphone. Unfortunately though, it won't work with 4G LTE in the United States. While not intended for the US market, this is something to keep in mind if you live in or travel to the US, as being limited to 3G is a pretty big drawback. Another drawback for global users is that although the hardware does include support for NFC and a heart rate monitor, both of these features were disabled by the global software at the time of producing this review. They should be switched on soon with a software update though. The internal speaker on the side of the Pro 6 Plus is pretty good. It's loud enough for general use, but a bit distorted at higher volumes. What's more significant is the hi-fi audio setup. There's a 32-bit DAC and amp, and yes, the Pro 6 Plus still includes a 3.5mm headphone jack. The Meizu Pro 6 Plus is powered by a 3400 mAh battery. We noticed a significant improvement in standby usage after upgrading to a beta version of Flyme 6. We were only averaging around 3.5 hours of screen-on time with Flyme 5, but after upgrading to Flyme 6 beta, we were getting around 6 hours of screen-on time. A bit of a disclaimer though, these tests were conducted over AT&T's HSPA Plus network, instead of a proper LTE network, so the numbers are presumably a bit inflated. When you need to charge the Pro 6 Plus, you can do so with the M-Charge 60-watt fast charging. When using the stock charger, we were able to go from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes and to 100% in 1 hour. That's pretty fast, but the proprietary technology means that charger selection is limited. The cameras on the Meizu Pro 6 Plus look promising on paper. There's a Sony IMX386 12MP f2.0 rear camera with laser autofocus, 4-axis OIS, and a dual-tone LED flash. In practice, the rear camera performs quite well too. General color reproduction is excellent, not too oversaturated, but still pretty punchy. We did notice some processing issues with bright reds, but that's not unusual at this price. If you take a closer look, images are sharp and detailed despite the lower megapixel count. Dynamic range is great too. The camera balances the highlights and shadows in most shots very well, allowing for more realistic photos. As expected, it falls short in low light situations. Images are softer, colors become muted, and digital noise is noticeable. You do have to keep in mind the price though. You can't really get much better than this unless you want to consider something more expensive like the Google Pixel XL. The front-facing 5-megapixel f2.0 camera performs about as well as expected, and we like how beauty mode doesn't overdo it with its skin softening. You can record 4K video at 30 FPS with the Meizu Pro 6 Plus, but actual video quality is only about average. Michigan Rose gave the phone's OIS quite the test, as you can see. You can quickly access the camera by double pressing the home button, even when the phone is locked. Meizu even refined the built-in camera app for Flyme 6, and it now offers an even better shooting experience. The key selling point of the Pro 6 Plus is the software. Sure, it ships with Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow, but it's Meizu's Flyme skin that really makes the experience unique. Put simply, Meizu's Flyme 6 may just be the best Android skin available to date. I personally even prefer it over stock Android, which may sound surprising, but hear me out. The clean design, performance-enhancing AI, innovative features, and overall polish just make this phone's software a pleasure to use. Meizu has redesigned Flyme 6 to be more colorful and bolder. You can see this everywhere you look, from the various screens in the security app to the fun animations implemented throughout the system. There's also a bunch of little features that Meizu has developed for Flyme 6 which I've never seen before, let alone in stock Android. Take the customizable important, non-important notification split, for example. You still get important notifications as you usually would, but non-important notifications get sent to a separate shade, to be dismissed after 24 hours. When I first launched PayPal, I was also surprised to find a built-in secure payment mode, which does a variety of things to make sure that you aren't phished or otherwise attacked by rogue apps or websites. The most glaring drawback of Flyme is Meizu's lack of an official relationship with Google. Because of this, Meizu can't install Google apps on their smartphones like other manufacturers can, so they rely on unauthorized methods instead. These methods are effective, but some apps like Android Pay don't work. You might also take issue with the update strategy. Instead of updating to new versions of Android, Meizu updates their Flyme skin with new features before or shortly after stock Android. This means that it's highly unlikely that this phone will ever see Android 7.0 Nougat. You can purchase the Meizu Pro 6 Plus in China now in either gold, silver, or black. The base model is 3,000 yuan, whereas the higher end model is 3,300 yuan. Like many competing options, the Meizu Pro 6 Plus offers great hardware. It's in the software, however, where the Pro 6 Plus inches ahead of its competitors. With the Pro 6 Plus, you're getting a great camera, wonderful display, excellent performance, and of course, fresh and innovative software. While there are certainly some flaws, the NFC and heart rate monitor are disabled in the global software, Google Apps support is unofficial, and the phone lacks support for US 4G LTE, the Meizu Pro 6 Plus offers an exceptional experience for its target audience. If you're a hardcore Meizu fan or are just looking to try something different, the Pro 6 Plus is a great option. And that will be all for this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Finally, check out our Android Authority website as we are your source for all things Android.